The rain hammered against the windows of Lumiere, Seoul's most exclusive restaurant, as Adaeze wiped down the mahogany bar for the third time that evening. Her dark skin gleamed under the amber lighting, and her natural hair was pulled back in an elegant bun that revealed the graceful curve of her neck. She'd been in Seoul for 2 years now, working her way up from dishwasher to head waitress, and she'd seen every type of wealthy patron this city had to offer. But she'd never seen anyone like him. He'd sat in the corner booth for exactly 47 minutes, she'd counted, nursing a single glass of whiskey while 3 men in dark suits whispered urgently around him. His face was all sharp angles and dangerous beauty, high cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, and eyes so dark they seemed to swallow light. His tailored black suit probably cost more than her yearly rent. When he finally stood to leave, the restaurant seemed to exhale. Adaeze noticed the other waitstaff relaxing, shoulders dropping, smiles returning. She wondered what kind of man inspired that much tension. She was clearing his table when she found it, a sleek leather wallet tucked between the cushions. Her fingers traced the embossed initials, Cam. "Hey, the guy in the corner booth," she called to her colleague Minho. "Did you catch his name?" Minho's face went pale. "That's Kang Minho. You don't know who that is?" She shook her head. "He's..." Minho lowered his voice to barely a whisper. "He runs half the underground in Seoul. Don't get involved, Adaeze. Just turn it in to Lost and Found." But inside the wallet, she'd already seen the black card, the thick stack of bills, and a single photograph, a young woman with kind eyes. Someone's daughter. Someone's sister. Adaeze pulled out her phone and dialed the number on the business card tucked in the front pocket. Minho answered on the second ring, his voice sharp. "Who is this?" "Mr. Kang? This is Adaeze Okonkwo. I'm a waitress at Lumiere. You left your wallet here." Silence stretched between them, dangerous and electric. "Where are you now?" His accent was crisp, his English flawless. "Still at the restaurant. My shift ends in 20 minutes. Don't move." The line went dead. 15 minutes later, a black Mercedes pulled up outside. Minho emerged like a dark angel, water streaming off his perfectly styled hair and expensive coat. His eyes found her immediately through the window, and something in her stomach tightened. He pushed through the door, and suddenly the spacious restaurant felt impossibly small. "You called me," he said, as if the concept was foreign. His gaze traveled over her face, lingering on her full lips, the intelligent spark in her brown eyes. "Why?" Adaeze held out the wallet. "Because it's yours." Most people would have kept it, or turned it in without calling. He took the wallet but didn't look at it. His attention remained fixed on her. "You're not from here." "Nigeria. Lagos, originally." She lifted her chin, refusing to be intimidated by the intensity of his stare. "And most people aren't thieves, Mr. Kang." A smile ghosted across his lips. Barely there, but devastating. "You'd be surprised what people become when given the opportunity. Maybe you know the wrong people." "I definitely know the wrong people." His eyes darkened with something she couldn't name. "It's my business to know them." Her colleague Minho was making frantic, cutting gestures from behind the bar, but Adaeze couldn't look away from this dangerous man who studied her like she was a puzzle he needed to solve. "You should be more careful," she said softly, "forgetting important things in public places." "I'm never careless." His hand moved, lightning quick, catching her wrist. His touch was warm despite the rain, his grip gentle but unbreakable. "Which means I was distracted. Do you know what distracted me?" Her pulse hammered against his fingers. "What?" "You." He leaned closer, and she caught the scent of bergamot and danger. "Watching you move through this restaurant, like you owned it. Like you weren't afraid of anything." "I'm not afraid of you," she whispered, though her racing heart called her a liar. "You should be." But his thumb traced a circle on the inside of her wrist, his expression almost tender. "Go home, Adaeze Okonkwo from Lagos. Forget you ever met me." He released her and turned toward the door. "Wait." The word escaped before she could stop it. Minho paused, his hand on the door. "Yes, the photograph in your wallet. The woman. Who is she?" His shoulders tensed. "My sister." She died 3 years ago. I'm sorry. He looked back at her, and for a moment, the dangerous mob boss disappeared, replaced by a man carrying an unbearable weight.
So am I.
She would have liked you, I think. She always believed people were fundamentally good. His smile was sad. I wish I could still believe that. Then he was gone, disappearing into the Seoul night like smoke. Adaeze's hands were shaking. Colleague Minho rushed over, his face frantic. Are you insane? Do you know what that man does to people who... He's just a man, she interrupted, though she knew she was lying. Kang Minho was definitely not just a man. And somehow, she knew this wouldn't be the last time she saw him. 3 days passed before he came back. Adaeze was inventorying wine bottles in the cellar when she felt it, that electric awareness that made her skin prickle. She turned to find Minho standing at the bottom of the stairs, backlit by warm light, looking like every dangerous fantasy she'd tried not to have. You shouldn't be down here, she said, proud her voice stayed steady. Staff only. I bought the restaurant this morning. He descended the remaining steps with predatory grace. I can be wherever I want. Her heart stuttered. You bought. Why would you do that? To see you again. He stopped close enough that she could see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes. You've been haunting me, Adaeze. I can't concentrate in meetings. I can't sleep. Do you know how dangerous it is for a man in my position to be distracted? Then stop thinking about me. I tried. His hand came up to cup her face, his touch gentle despite the calluses she felt on his palm. Marks of violence beneath the expensive suits. It didn't work. She should step back. Should remember that Minho had warned her about exactly this kind of man. Instead, she leaned into his touch. What do you want from me? Everything. His thumb brushed her lower lip, and heat pooled low in her belly. But I'll start with dinner. Have dinner with me. That's not a good idea. I'm aware. Say yes anyway. The smart thing would be to refuse. To remember that men like Kang Minho destroyed everything they touched. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw more than the dangerous crime lord everyone feared. She saw loneliness, longing, a man who carried his dead sister's photograph like a talisman against the darkness. One dinner, she heard herself say, but somewhere normal, not some exclusive place where everyone's afraid to breathe too loud. Surprise flickered across his features, followed by genuine amusement. You want me to take you somewhere normal? I want to see if you remember how to be a person instead of a crime boss. For a moment, she thought she'd gone too far. Then he laughed, a real laugh that transformed his face into something beautiful and unbearably young. You're going to be trouble, he murmured, but his eyes were warm. I'll pick you up tomorrow at 7. He arrived in a modest sedan instead of the Mercedes, wearing jeans and a simple black sweater that somehow made him even more devastating. Adaeze had chosen a vibrant Ankara print dress that hugged her curves, her hair natural and free around her shoulders. You're beautiful, he said when she emerged from her tiny apartment building. The words sounded like a confession. So are you, she replied, making him smile. He took her to a pojangmaka, a small tent restaurant selling Korean street food, where they sat on plastic stools and ate tteokbokki and oding like ordinary people. Around them, the Hongdae district pulsed with life. Students laughing, street musicians playing, couples holding hands. Tell me about Lagos, Minho said, expertly wielding his chopsticks. What made you leave? Adaeze considered how much to reveal. My father died when I was 17. Heart attack. My mother sold everything to send me to university, but I wanted more than Lagos could offer. Wanted to see the world, make something of myself. She met his eyes. So I worked 3 jobs, saved every one, and ended up washing dishes in Seoul. And now you're head waitress. For now. I'm studying for my business degree at night. Someday I'll open my own restaurant. Something shifted in his expression, respect mixed with something deeper. You're extraordinary, you know that? I'm practical. She popped a rice cake in her mouth. Your turn. Tell me something true. I never wanted this life. The confession came quietly. I wanted to be an architect. Design buildings that would outlive me, create something beautiful instead of. He gestured vaguely at himself. Instead of destroying things, hurting people. His jaw tightened. My father built this empire. When he died, I was 22. I had two choices: take over or watch everything crumble and leave hundreds of families vulnerable to worse predators than me. So you became the monster to fight monsters. Something like that. He caught her hand across the table. But when I look at you, I remember what it felt like to want something good. The air between them thickened, charged with possibility and danger. Adaeze knew she was falling, had been falling since the moment he looked at her in the restaurant. Take me somewhere, she whispered. Anywhere. They ended up at his penthouse, overlooking the Han River. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed Seoul spread below them like scattered diamonds. But Adaeze only had eyes for the man pouring them wine with hands that could kill, but touched her like she was made of glass. I shouldn't have brought you here, Minho said, handing her a glass. This is where I bring people who need to be reminded why they fear me. I'm not afraid of you. You keep saying that. He set down his glass and moved closer, crowding her against the window. But maybe you should be. Maybe you should run before I ruin you. Maybe I don't run easily. She placed her palm against his chest, feeling his heart race beneath expensive fabric. Maybe I'm not as fragile as you think. His control snapped. He kissed her like a man drowning, his mouth claiming hers with desperate hunger. Adaeze gasped, and he swallowed the sound, his tongue sliding against hers as his hands gripped her waist. She tasted whiskey and longing, felt the tremor in his strong body as he pressed against her. Adaeze, he groaned against her lips. Tell me to stop. Instead, she pulled him closer, her fingers tangling in his hair. Don't you dare. He lifted her easily, her legs wrapping around his waist as he carried her toward the bedroom. But at the doorway, he paused, his forehead resting against hers. If we do this, there's no going back, he whispered. I won't be able to let you go. She looked into his eyes and saw the truth. This man who commanded fear from everyone around him was terrified of this, of her, of feeling something real. Then don't let go, she said simply. He laid her on black silk sheets like she was precious, his hands trembling slightly as they traced her curves. You're going to destroy me, he murmured, but he was smiling. Good, she replied, pulling him down to her. We'll destroy each other. Adaeze woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and the warm weight of Minho's arm across her waist. They'd made love 3 times during the night, urgent and desperate the first time, slow and exploratory the second, tender and almost heartbreaking the third. Her body ached in the most delicious way. She turned to study his sleeping face. In sleep, the harsh lines softened, making him look younger, almost vulnerable. His dark hair fell across his forehead, and she couldn't resist brushing it back. His eyes opened immediately, alert despite having slept maybe 3 hours. Then he saw her, and something in his expression melted. You're still here, he murmured, pulling her closer. Where else would I be? Running. Most people run. He kissed her shoulder, her neck, the sensitive spot behind her ear that made her shiver. I wouldn't blame you. I told you. I don't run easily. His phone buzzed insistently on the nightstand. He ignored it the first 3 times, but when it rang again, his jaw tightened. I have to take this. He rolled away, speaking in rapid Korean. Adaeze didn't understand the words, but she recognized the tone. Sharp, commanding, dangerous. This was the man everyone feared. When he hung up, the tender lover had disappeared. I need to handle something. Stay here, I'll have breakfast sent up. Minho. Please. He cupped her face, his eyes intense. Just this once, let me keep you separate from that part of my life. She wanted to argue, but the plea in his voice stopped her. Okay. He kissed her deeply, possessively, then pulled away before she could deepen it. I'll be back soon. But soon turned into hours. Adaeze showered, ate the elaborate breakfast that appeared via silent staff, and explored the penthouse. It was beautiful but impersonal, like a high-end hotel rather than a home. No photographs except one of a young woman who had to be his sister. No personal touches. Nothing that revealed the man behind the reputation. She was examining his bookshelves, surprised to find architecture books alongside Korean literature, when the elevator dinged. But it wasn't Minho who stepped out. The man was shorter, stocky, with a scar running down his left cheek and eyes like chips of ice. Two others flanked him, all wearing the same dark suits that marked them as part of Minho's world. "You must be the waitress," Scarface said in accented English. "The one who's got our boss acting like a lovesick fool." Adaeze's spine straightened. "Who are you?" Park Jae-sung, Minho's second-in-command. He moved into the living room like he owned it. "We need to talk about your little romance." "Does Minho know you're here?" "Minho doesn't know a lot of things lately." Too distracted. His smile was cold. "You're a liability, Miss Okonkwo. Do you understand what that means in our world?" Fear licked up her spine, but she refused to show it. "Why don't you explain it to me?" "It means you're a weakness. Something our enemies can exploit." He pulled out his phone, showing her photographs, Adaeze leaving her apartment, walking to work, laughing with friends. Someone had been following her. "It means the Chong gang already knows about you. It means they're planning to use you to hurt Minho." Her blood ran cold. "Then tell him. Let him protect me." That's exactly what they want. They want him distracted, emotional, making mistakes. Jae-sung stepped closer, and his men tensed. "You care about him?" "Yes." "Then leave. Disappear. Go back to Nigeria, move to another city, I don't care. Just get away from him before you get him killed." The elevator dinged again, and Minho stepped out. His eyes went from Adaeze to Jae-sung, and his expression turned murderous.
"Get out."
His voice was quiet, which somehow made it more terrifying. "Hyung, I'm trying to." I said get out. Power rolled off Minho in waves.
"Now."
Jae-sung and his men left without another word, but not before the second-in-command shot Adaeze a look that clearly said this isn't over. When they were gone, Minho pulled Adaeze into his arms. She was shaking. "What did he say to you?" Minho demanded. "The truth." She pushed back to look at him. "That I'm putting you in danger. That people are watching me, planning to use me against you." His arms tightened. "I won't let anyone hurt you. But he's right, isn't he? Being with me makes you vulnerable." "I don't care." "Minho." "I don't fucking care, Adaeze." He framed her face with his hands. "Do you think I haven't considered every angle? Every risk? I've spent my entire adult life being careful, being strategic, never letting anyone close. And then you walked into my life with your courage and your goodness, and suddenly none of it mattered anymore." Tears burned her eyes. "I don't want to be the reason you get hurt. You're the reason I want to survive." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "But I need to know, are you willing to live in this world? My world? Because it's dangerous and dark, and I can't promise you'll ever be completely safe." She thought about Lagos, about her dreams of a normal life, a safe life. Then she thought about never seeing Minho again, never touching him, never hearing his rare laugh. "I'm not going anywhere," she said firmly. "Even if it means being guarded, having your freedom restricted." Even then, relief flooded his features. "Then we do this, right? I move you somewhere secure. You have protection 24/7. And I teach you how to defend yourself." "That's not going to be enough, is it?" Adaeze met his eyes. "Your second-in-command is right. They're going to come after me. Let them try." His voice dropped to something deadly. "I'll burn down anyone who touches you." She believed him, and that should have terrified her. Instead, she pulled him toward the bedroom. "Then we'd better make the most of our time." Later, wrapped in his arms with the Seoul skyline darkening outside, Minho whispered against her hair, "I love you. I know it's too soon. I know it's insane, but I love you." Adaeze's heart cracked open. "I love you too." She felt him smile against her skin. "My beautiful, brave girl. We're going to survive this. Promise?" "I promise." But they both knew that in his world, promises were written in blood. The attack came 3 days later, Minho had moved Adaeze into a secure apartment in Gangnam with bulletproof windows and guards rotating every 6 hours. She hated the confinement but understood the necessity. He visited whenever he could, bringing her favorite foods and spending nights teaching her basic self-defense moves that usually ended with them tangled in sheets instead. But that evening, Minho was in a meeting across the city when her phone buzzed with an unknown number. "We have your mother. Come to the Dongdaemun warehouse district. Alone. You have 1 hour." Her blood turned to ice. Her mother was in Lagos, safe, far away from all this. Unless another message came through, a photo of her mother bound to a chair, terror in her eyes. Adaeze's hands shook as she called Minho.
It went to voicemail.
She tried again. Same result. 58 minutes. She couldn't wait. Couldn't risk them hurting her mother while she tried to reach someone who might already be in danger himself. Adaeze remembered what Minho had taught her. If you're ever in real trouble, don't hesitate. Do whatever it takes to survive. She slipped past the guard during a shift change, a 2-minute window she'd noticed days ago, and caught a taxi to Dongdaemun. The warehouse was exactly the kind of place crime bosses used in movies, abandoned, vast, filled with shadows. Adaeze's heart hammered as she entered, her phone clutched in one hand, pepper spray in the other. "Hello." Her voice echoed. Lights flooded on, blinding her. When her vision cleared, she saw her mother, thank God, alive, surrounded by men in dark clothes. And standing in front of them was a man in an expensive suit, younger than Minho, with cruel eyes and a calculated smile. "Miss Okonkwo, so good of you to come. Let my mother go. She has nothing to do with this. On the contrary, she has everything to do with this." He gestured, and one of his men pressed a gun to her mother's temple. Her mother whimpered. "You see, Kang Minho has been a problem for me. He controls territory I want, respect I deserve. But he's careful, paranoid, impossible to trap. Until me," Adaeze whispered. "Until you." His smile widened. "He'll come for you. And when he does, we'll be ready. You're Chong, the rival gang." "Very good. I'm Kang Minho, soon to be the most powerful man in Seoul. Once Kang is dead." Rage burned through her fear. "He'll kill you first, perhaps. But I'll have taken everything he loves before I go."
Minho pulled out a phone, dialing.
"Let's invite him to the party, shall we?" Minho answered on the first ring. "Where the fuck is she, Chong?" "At my warehouse. With her mother. And about 20 of my men."
Pause.
"Come alone, or I start removing pieces of them." The line went dead. Adaeze met her mother's terrified eyes across the space. "I'm sorry, Mama." "Baby, why?" Her mother's voice broke. "Why are you mixed up with these people?" "Because I love him." Minho laughed. "How touching. Young love. Too bad it's about to get both of you killed." 23 minutes later, the warehouse doors exploded inward. Minho entered like an avenging angel, alone as demanded, his hands raised to show they were empty. But his eyes, God, his eyes were black with fury. "Let them go, Minho." "I don't think so." The younger crime lord gestured, and his men raised their weapons. "You've been a thorn in my side for too long, Kang. Time to pull it out. You touch them, and I'll make sure you die screaming." Bold words for a man with 20 guns pointed at him. Minho's smile was terrible. "Did you really think I'd come alone?" That's when all hell broke loose. Windows shattered as Minho's men rappelled in from above. Doors burst open as more poured in from all sides. The warehouse erupted into chaos, gunfire, shouting, bodies colliding. Adaeze dove for her mother as bullets whizzed overhead. She grabbed the older woman, pulling her behind a concrete pillar. "Stay down." But Minho had anticipated the backup. More of his men emerged from hiding, and suddenly the numbers were even. Minho fought like a demon, taking down 3 men with brutal efficiency before more replaced them. Adaeze saw him take a hit, blood blooming across his shoulder. Rage gave her courage she didn't know she had. She grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and swung it at a man approaching her mother, catching him in the knee. He went down hard. "That's my girl," Minho called out, grinning despite the blood. But then Minho was there, grabbing Adaeze, pressing a gun to her temple. Enough. The fighting stopped. Minho froze, his eyes locked on the weapon against Adaeze's head. Put down your weapons, Minho demanded. Or I paint the walls with her brain. Don't. Adaeze shouted. Don't do it, Minho. He'll kill us anyway. Shut up, Minho snarled, hitting her with the gun. Pain exploded across her cheekbone. Something in Minho snapped. He moved, impossibly fast, closing the distance before Minho could react. His hand caught the other man's wrist, twisting viciously. The gun clattered away. Then Minho was on him, raining down punches with surgical precision.
You.
Touched. Her. Each word was punctuated with a blow. Minho's face turned into raw meat. Minho. Adaeze grabbed his arm. Stop. You'll kill him. That's the plan. And then what? His gang retaliates? More violence? Where does it end? He looked at her, wild-eyed, covered in blood, his and others. When they're all dead.
No.
She cupped his face, making him focus on her. When you choose to end it. When you choose us over revenge. The warehouse had gone silent. Both sides watched their leaders, weapons ready but waiting. Please, Adaeze whispered. Choose me. Choose life. Let's leave this behind. For a long moment, she thought she'd lost him to the darkness. Then Minho stood, stepping away from the broken man at his feet. He addressed everyone in Korean, his voice carrying authority. Jae-sung appeared at his side, translating for Adaeze. He's declaring a truce. Splitting the territory. Retiring from active leadership. What? Adaeze breathed. Minho pulled her close, kissing her bloody forehead. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. 6 months later, Adaeze stood in the kitchen of their new restaurant, hers and Minho's joint venture, putting final touches on the evening's menu. It was small, intimate, serving Nigerian Korean fusion cuisine that was getting rave reviews. Minho walked in, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. The scars from that night had faded, but they both still carried them, visible and invisible. Mrs. Kang, he murmured against her neck. They'd married in a small ceremony last month, her mother crying tears of joy. How's my brilliant chef? Your chef is tired. And pregnant. He went utterly still. What? She turned in his arms, unable to contain her smile. I found out this morning. We're having a baby. Joy transformed his face. Pure, uncomplicated happiness she'd once thought him incapable of. We're having a baby. Are you happy? Happy. He laughed, spinning her around. I'm terrified. Ecstatic. I can't believe I get to have this. Have you? Have a family. You deserve it, she said fiercely. You deserve everything good. He kissed her then, slow and sweet and full of promise. Outside their restaurant, Seoul bustled with life, dangerous and beautiful and full of possibility. They'd survived the fire and emerged transformed. Not without scars, but stronger for them. And as Minho rested his hand on her still flat belly, Adaeze knew that whatever came next, they'd face it together. Their dangerous love had become their salvation.